After 2 years of searching for work and finally finding a job, I think I'm finally ready to tell my story of how I actually got here in one of the worst job markets we've seen in a long time. Just like many of you, I really struggled using the traditional methods of, sending out resumes, messaging recruiters on LinkedIn, being the first to apply to work when it popped up on LinkedIn, all the while working a full-time kind of temporary job. It was absolutely exhausting. So after realizing after about a year and a half that not working, I decided to try something a little different. Now, half of this was because I didn't want to necessarily lose all my skills that I learned from my statistics degree, and instead try to apply it in a different way in maybe an industry that's adjacent to it. So I decided to work at a mathnasium. Now, if you're from the United States, you probably know what a mathnasium is. It is a math tutoring center for K through 12. It is a very basic tutoring job where you basically just guide kids on doing extra worksheets for extra practice. It sounds riveting, and honestly, these kids are hilarious, by the way. The kids are all right. Just want to tell you that, too. But another reason I went there was not just to ensure that my math skills were up to date, but also just to make my life even worse than it was. And I say that in the sense that getting a second job on top of the one you already have and working those 12 to 13 hour days really puts you in a different state. Now, professionally, I'd like to think most of us are very serious. So that means we're pretty damn disciplined when it comes to getting to work on time and working hard. If this is true for you, you're already miles ahead. However, post-grad, I just didn't get a way to show that. You can't show that in a grocery store very easily. You can only stack boxes so damn fast. And guess what? No one gives a damn if you can stack the boxes faster, because half of the fucking people there aren't even working if you've worked retail. So I get this job to make my life even more busy and even shittier, theoretically. And let me tell you right now, 12, 13-hour days are fucking terrible. And I wouldn't recommend it for anyone unless you want to follow this. So when I got this job, I decided I was going to show my excellence in this field. I was going to be the best damn tutor there was. And maybe, just maybe, an opportunity would come from this. Maybe a recruiter would see it on my resume instead of seeing a grocery store, they'd see, oh, you work with kids. Oh, that's great. We want someone that can work professionally with, people and, seeing how you work with. I personally think that tutoring job probably is better if you want to become a data analyst than a grocery store worker. That's probably true. So I take this job, and not 4 days into me starting, I hadn't even finished the fucking training yet. My boss comes up to me and says, there is a father and a son here, and the son really wants to go to an elite academy, but has to train up in order to take this really special exam, which is in 2 weeks, and this is the last time he can take it. And he needs his scores up in order to make it in. Can you do it? Now I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy fucking shit, I don't even know, what does that even entail? Am I even good enough for this? All these thoughts of self-doubt. Ones that probably would have won over if I was alone in my room and I saw it on a computer screen, maybe through an email or something. But the guy was standing right there, and his son looked like he really needed some help. So of course I said yes. So me and this kid for, I think, 18 days straight, every single day, had about a 2-hour session at the tutoring center, and we just worked on math problems over and over and over again. I'm happy to say, at the end of those 18 days, he did get into that academy, and apparently he's having a very great time. After the fact, the father came to me and he said, thank you so much, here's an extra tip. He asked me, you seem pretty bright, you're very professional, do you have any other aspirations past this job? And I said, yes, of course. I want to be a data analyst. I said my story very, very clearly. I said exactly what I wanted to do, and I gave it to him straight. He simply nodded his head, and then there wasn't much to the conversation after that. He basically left with his son and thanked me. I worked at that job for another 6 months until one day I get a call back from the dad. Little did I know the dad was a vice president of a staffing agency. Are you kidding me? Just my luck. He says to me, hey, I run this company, and these guys, they're looking for a data analyst, someone who can, work with some basic Excel formulas and like all this stuff. It wasn't too crazy, right? But he said, you're the first person I thought of. That 15, 20-second conversation of just me telling him what I wanted to do after I had done something good for him got me in the door. That was 6 months after this had happened. He had kept me in mind that entire time. Now, given I didn't go into this expecting something, but I got out of it a massive opportunity. One that has transformed my life. Transformed my life in only positive ways. I don't feel that financial stress anymore. I don't feel like I can't go out and enjoy myself because I don't deserve it. I don't feel like every single bit of my time, every single bit of existence has to be spent trying to find a job, trying to find a purpose. Now, what is this idea? What is this idea of making your own luck? There's no doubting I got extremely lucky. The time I joined this place, 4 days in, I get to work with the VP's kid and get him into an academy. You kidding me? That's crazy lucky. Now, the opportunity was lucky, sure. But if I hadn't made that first step to get the hell out of the house and go knock on the door of the freaking mathnasium and pretty much demand a job and say, look, I'm ready to go. I'm the best tutor you can possibly get right now. This wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have even been able to show my excellence, my professionalism. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I had stayed in my room and done the same thing over and over again I was doing for years. To underline this point, this make your own luck point, it simply is this. Surround yourself with people that can give you an opportunity. And just think of the situation you are in. Let's take this mathnasium, for example. Mathnasium, there's a bunch of children, okay? They all have parents that come to pick them up. The parents are all professionals themselves. If you're already paying for tutoring services, you're probably already relatively wealthy or in some sort of corporate career that can sustain that expense, because it's expensive. Private education is expensive. I get to interact with these parents. I get to interact with professionals. I get to tell my story. I get to interact with new coworkers who possibly know someone else that knows someone else that can give me a job. All these things are important. And all these things cannot be found in your room. They can't be found on LinkedIn. I'm sorry. So in that sense, the boomers are right. The boomers are right. You really do have to just go outside and get what you want. And let me tell you, if you've made it this far, I have hope for you. I have hope for you, and I know you're going to break through. I know you're going to break through. Because no one will listen to this story and take this advice and not make it. I don't believe that. You have hunger, you have drive, you got to get out there. You got to meet professionals. You have to be the one in their ear. You get to be the one telling your story face to face. And believe me, I did. I told a lot of parents that story. I want to be a data analyst. But one listened, one took a chance on me. And that's all you need. All you need is to get lucky once. So please, don't give up and get out there.